Almost 2 years ago, we left it all behind for a chance at the sailing adventure of a lifetime.
It has not been smooth sailing since then, but together we are learning and laughing our way through.
Our hope is that if we laugh long enough, we can make our merry way around the world.
And this
is a Millennial Falcon. Last episode, we hauled the boat out at Spice Island Marina in Grenada. What you may not yet understand is why.
Those of you who've been following along for some time may remember that we had bought a feathering propeller from Bruntons back in St Martin around August of last year.
Ooh. Having fitted it in the water and taken it for a test, we were convinced that something wasn't right, as the noise and the vibration was untenable.
I can hear it knocking, like a kind of gargling and knocking noise. I can't feel it.
Adam wants to turn it back already.
I just don't like the noise.
Can you hear that?
That is not the engine.
Can you hear us?
Like some of that is the engine, but that like droning.
Our suspicions were confirmed when we discovered that we could remove the propeller by hand.
It was just one tug and it came straight off. The guys at Brunton were extremely helpful every step of the way. We came to the conclusion that either the propeller was key-bound or the shaft needed to be cut so as to remove the need for a spacer, which I had introduced, that was potentially interfering with the fit.
And seeing as how we were out of the water anyway, we decided we would give the hull a lick of paint. Here are your tools. Inside the tool bag.
Wouldn't it be terrible if this prop pulled off by hand as well?
Oh no! Can you imagine?
Okay, that's definitely not coming off my hand.
Okay, that's good. Alright.
This bad boy is not some kind of alien device for removing aliens from your body or anything. It's a prop puller and a gear puller. In case if you haven't been with us from last time we were in the yard, you might remember that we didn't have one. And we borrowed one that was quite small and we had a lot of problems. Fortunately, the yard over in Carriacou lent us quite a good one. Anyway, this time around I bought one at home and I got this from a place called Trade Tools in Australia, which is an automotive and trade tools place, not in any way marine affiliated. And I paid 80 Australian dollars for this. I haven't verified that it works yet, but if I get my propeller off, which is a known difficult suspect, it took 3 blokes and 3 prop pullers to get it off last time. If this works, $80 versus $300 just for dropping the word marine.
Oh, sorry. Focus, Kiara. Oh my god. No way, it came off?
What, the prop?
Yes!
Oh, cool. I don't know whether I should be happy or displeased with that.
It was only like one pull. I've got the timer here. 1 minute 55 we've been doing this for.
That was like barely...
That was meant to take 2 days. This is not right.
No, that was too easy. I mean, it was on there. It wasn't loose. It wasn't making any racket. I don't know.
Currently about a day and a half ahead of schedule. It's ridiculous. Somebody's cleaned most of the hull for us. Adam's already taken the prop off that we expected to be to take us like 2 days, I think I said to you, Ads?
Yeah.
I think I said to Adam 2 days that would take because, you know, everything always does. Nah, can't be right. Something else is going to have to take longer.
Something's going to have to go wrong.
Something's going to have to be longer than that.
That was too easy. I'm not concerned because the prop was running fine, everything was good. I'm just a bit, that was way too easy. I mean, the fact that
We're so skeptical nowadays, aren't we?
Talk about jaded.
We're so...
I think the fact that we've had this on and off, and on again, and off again, and both times it was an absolute nightmare, kind of gives me hope that it's nothing's sinister and nothing's changed, nothing's worn or degraded. But also I suspect that when I put this prop back on, it was a quick installation in the water.
Yeah,
as opposed to like a dry fit.
Yeah, you're right.
A dry, tight workshop fit. So perhaps it just wasn't briefed down as well as
you're right.
other times we've done it as a dry fit. So this is potentially what the issue was. This is a Bees dicks.
You can say that.
I need all my colloquialisms. All my sayings are bad. This was a tiny bit too big, and as a result, the new prop was sort of sitting on this instead of this tapered shaft section, which obviously was causing it to vibrate and reverberate through the shaft and carry on and make noise. So as per the instruction, I'm going to lap the joints and gently file this back until the key until the prop sits on the taper in lieu of this. But the first check for that will be to fit it without the key to establish whether it, once I tap it on there, it shouldn't come off easily. It should well and truly sit as a friction fit on the taper. Then I'll remove it and fit it with the key, check for the difference, and just keep doing that until the key is perfect.
Just on our way to the resort, I guess you call it, the mooring balls field, where John's boat is parked. Where I guess as a trade for doing a talk at his seminar, I made him agree to give me an hour of his time to pass a few questions by him, some of the lessons he's learned over the last 300,000 miles. So we're on our way there now for a bit of a captain's hour, and to give me a chance to pick his brain for about an hour. Might have been stood up. Oh, no, there he is.
True to form, Adam and John started chatting away, and what was to be an hour interview quickly consumed 2.5 hours and 3 camera batteries. Stay tuned for the full interview coming soon.
After a lovely evening with John and Tadji, we whisked ourselves off to the airport to scoop up our new crewmates.
Okay, it looks like you are getting ready to do something.
It's about time somebody did some work around here.
What you doing?
And to clean the paint, the horrible paint job off this propeller.
What's wrong with my wonderful paint job?
I'll let the jury decide.
And on that note, guess who's been delegated to paint the hull? Sure, that's a wise choice?
What would you like to do then?
Nothing. Ready.
So I've just been cleaning this off all morning, trying to get the paint jobs nice and get it back to beautiful bronze. And I figured I'd take a break just to pop it on the shaft and see if the friction fit does its job. And I just gave it a little oomph on there, and it seems the taper is doing its job. So now I just have to get this off, finish cleaning it, and lap the joint, file down the key progressively until I achieve this with the key in there. So that's a fantastic result. Damn it. There we go. Just a little pop.
It's all a bit too easy at the moment. It's not. It's very, very, very unlike what we used to. So while lads has been sanding that, I've been sanding the hull. It's taking a lot quicker than what I thought it would take. I've already done half the hull and it's been about an hour, and I'm on to the other half of the hull. So, geez, I should be done by like 10 o'clock, just in time for breakfast.
For those of you who aren't full bottle on propellers and whatnot, propeller shafts have a taper on it. So as does ours here, where it goes from 1 inch to 1.25 inches. And I think it's a 1 in 16 taper or something like that, don't quote me. And obviously the propeller has the opposite of that taper, and it's designed to cause a friction fit. This key is in no way supposed to absorb the twisting loads of the propeller. The friction fit, because of the taper, is what should be doing all the work.
And as I showed you before, when I popped this on and just gave it a little tap, it very quickly was almost impossible to get off by hand, which is what we want. If you recall, when I installed it in the water, as I'm about to now, with the key, and just locating the keyway in the propeller, note the taper, and then snugging it on the shaft, ensure you don't lose the key, and then fitting the propeller. I should also note that I didn't fit this propeller. It was done by a diver, the same diver who took off the other one, and that's not me saying that he did anything wrong. He did exactly what he was supposed to. But as you can see, I can still take this off. Oh, yeah, I can still take that. That would have been embarrassing.
After fitting and refitting the propeller with and without the key a great many more times, I came to the conclusion that the propeller was in fact not key-bound. My theory was confirmed when I discovered I could see daylight through the keyway with the key installed. So I opted to buy a new 35mm key and file it down to size so as to remove as much empty space and thus imbalance from the hub as possible. This leaves the spacer I introduced as the likely candidate for the vibration.
So the challenge for me now is to file back this key, I'm going to lap the joints so as to get these surfaces sort of rough enough that the friction fit will be ideal. And then I also have to file back this key a tiny piece at a time until it is a perfect fit, but the propeller does not in any way sit on the key. It sits entirely on the shaft, and this key is simply here to locate the keyways and keep the propeller from twisting until it loads up onto the shaft.
Okay, end of day one. I am no longer blue. My coveralls did absolutely nothing to help with the sanding paint on me. I managed to sand all of the hull. Adam has absolutely thoroughly, well and truly sanded the propeller and inspected its fit down to, no, he's behind the camera, he's like, I think it's a pretty bloody good fit, I have to say. And once again, we are incredibly skeptical of things just fitting too well and nothing being wrong with them, and we're very skeptical on how well it fits. So I think Ads tomorrow is going to do a few more little tests to it just to see if that's enough. Also, I haven't told this to Adam yet, but apparently Grenada are shutting their borders today. So we are at the moment stuck here until we can go somewhere, do something. Aussies are out, Adams. Yeah, so to be honest, whether we're on the hard or whether we're in the water, it doesn't really matter. We're stuck in Grenada, so we're a little bit, yeah, we're stuck. But for now, we're doing boat work, so this is our focus today and tomorrow and for the next 4 days.
So day 2 in the yard, where the situation is that as of last night rather, the borders to Grenada were closed. So far we think the yard will continue to operate, so we'll be able to get back in the water. But that's prompted us to essentially double down our efforts and get everything done as quickly as possible. So we're accelerating the process a little bit, trying to, and cutting away all non-essential work until further notice, so that we can get back in the water ASAP, just in case we end up stuck. So today's going to be a big day. Yeah. I have to, I don't know if I've explained this enough, but I'm very flummoxed about this propeller thing because it's doing everything it should. It's behaving really well. I thus far can only find one thing that I'm going to remedy. So yeah, and I'm nervous because what I have to do is cut a dimple off the back of the shaft to ensure that the fastener gets all the way home without the use of a spacer. But once I do that, I've lost the split pin hole for the old propeller, which means whilst I can still put the old propeller back on, I can't split pin it and secure it. So there's no going back once I start cutting bits off my shaft. So I'm a bit nervous about that, but I can't just sit around staring at it all day. I got to make a choice. And I've checked the taper. It goes all the way home, and you can't pull it off by hand once you ram it on there. So the taper is doing its job. That's without the key, by the way. And then when the key is in there, I can achieve the same fit So it's not key bound. The tape is fine. All I can see is that I have no idea. I don't know what was wrong. So I'm just gonna have to do the best that I can, follow the instructions to the letter, and make sure everything's high and tight.
I need to sneeze, and I don't have
I was like this.
I know, I'm
Off
like...
camera, she's like, hurry up, I'm gonna sneeze.
Yeah, so I was like, oh god, I have a sneeze coming, and everyone's gonna start thinking I have coronavirus if I do it.
Boo! No. Anyway, huge day for us. Hopefully it all comes together, and that's that.
Yeah, and I'm painting.
We have to get back to work. Yeah, Sarah's painting.
Yeah. And I've recruited the troops, so Claire and Sean are also helping me as well.
Yeah, this is my twin sister Claire. We've known each other for 32 years. Shared a house once.
Small house.
It's a very small house. They've just come in. They're on a bit of an adult
Who's
gap
they?
year.
Where's Sean?
This is
Come on,
this is
Sean.
my brother-in-law, Claire's husband. Hey. They've been on a bit of an adult gap year of sorts, which has just been absolutely wrecked by the global pandemic, coronavirus. Very fortunately for them, they very intelligently opted to come into Grenada sooner than planned. They were initially going to be here at the end of this month, and they brought it forward 2 weeks because the borders were closing left, right and centre. They got in, what, day before yesterday?
Yeah.
The borders closed last night. So
Just
talk
made it.
about ideal timing. So now they're with us sort of indefinitely. And
Turns back up again.
really nice to have extra
Suck in.
hands.
Yeah,
We
they've
put them
already put
immediately
us to work.
I didn't sign up for slave labour.
I would need like a step ladder, and Sean's just like, oh yeah, you know.
Exactly. We're going with black, folks. Gonna have a bit of change of colour. Ooh, looks gross. It actually does look like tar or treacle. What do we miss? What do we miss?
I just lost half an inch of my shaft.
You want to explain what you just did? Why?
So I have to shorten the shaft from this dimple because the Bruntons propeller has to marry up all the way. This has to go all the way home when the propeller's on. Previously I had a spacer made up here, but that's not really the as designed condition, and I suspect that might have been one of the causes of our rattling. So I'm doing every single thing the manufacturer said, not taking any chances. There.
How does it feel to have sliced your shaft?
Thought it would be bloodier. Are we supposed to have a party now?
Yeah.
L'chaim.
We interrupt our program to bring you this important message.
Yes! Everybody, you know the drill. Okay, let's get straight into it. So we're doing 5 minutes, as many questions as we can.
Yep.
Starting.
Oh no, actually we've already kind of pinpointed 5 questions, so I think we're just going to do 5 questions.
We
and
might not get through
limit
them
it
in
a
5
minute.
minutes.
Alright.
A minute per question. Good
Okay.
idea. Okay, ready? Starting.
Go.
Go.
Alright. How is the keel repair holding up?
Yours.
Keel repair is holding up really, really well. In fact, it's actually the best part of our boat right now. We have these little divots, I'm gonna say, like little holes in some of our hull.
It's like acne scarring. It's like
Yeah.
tiny little pop marks.
Yeah. So anyway, we have that around a lot of the hull. And last time we went out the water, we managed to lots of resin over a fair amount of those holes. Also, the keel, as we were doing it, is included in that. And those bits are like super, super smooth. What everyone else's keels are probably like. So our keel repair is holding up really, really well. It has not fallen off, which is the main thing.
No signs of delamination. The paint job's holding up. And the growth is, like you said, particularly low because it's a perfect clear coat, smooth finish. So I think we did a great job there.
All right.
Awesome.
53 seconds.
Beautiful.
Good job. 18 tons. That's 39,000 pounds. What is your boat made of?
Thank you for the question, Gibby. Yeah, she's a big girl. So we have 11,000 pounds of ballast in the keel alone, which is a cast iron poured into a keel. An encapsulated keel is the word I'm looking for. The weigh-in, that was the weigh-in, that's the wet weight, if you will, in the sling.
Yeah.
Her dry weight, I think, is obviously less than that. So yeah, we're probably hauling around a fair bit of junk we don't need to be hauling around.
Although, when we were hauled out, both of our fuel tanks are full, but our water tanks are pretty well empty, I think.
Yeah, so she's a big girl and she's overbuilt and over-rigged, but that's why we bought her, because she can take a whooping, and we like it that way.
So she's made of a lot of iron and fiberglass. All right, next question. Do you guys have a ham radio? Why don't you ever talk about it? I saw it at the 12-minute mark, and that is from Off the Grid, Aussie Prepper.
Thank you for the question, mate. Yes, you're right. We do have a SSB radio. I should say had, and we are allowed to use it. We are licensed to use it.
Are we?
I am. Oh. It's long story short, we replaced the backstay before we attempted the last Atlantic crossing, and the antenna was previously an insulated backstay, and the insulators were shot, and I didn't want to have 4 extra swage points in the backstay, so the antenna's gone. Essentially, that's what's wrong with it. So it doesn't function, and to be honest, now that we have the Iridium Go, it's sort of redundant, and I would like to get it working again because redundancy is king and you can never have too many ways to communicate. So basically we just need a separate antenna. So my plan is to get a long whip antenna and attach it to the rear pulpit and run it up the backstay as a separate thing, because I don't like having extra joints in the backstay. It's just another place for a swage to fail.
Good job. All right. Next one. I'm just curious, have you noticed any difference in your viewing stats since everyone's been on lockdown? Stay safe and well. Thank you, Bruce. Yes, we have. We've noticed like a slight increase, probably more so at the beginning period though. Like, I think now we're kind of like people are maybe just getting bored of YouTube or something. I'm not too sure.
Bored of us.
But yeah, we have noticed a little bit of an increase in our viewership.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was a boom. It was we saw the first episode was kind of bizarre because it had nothing to do with sailing.
The New York.
It was our journey back to the boat, and those episodes obviously tend to underperform because sort of the algorithm doesn't really know what to do with it, because our viewers are obviously interested in boats and sailing. But it did really well, which was confusing to both of us, and we've sort of returned to slightly above normal recently, which is great. Because, it is.
Right.
All right on the money there.
Nice to see you back. Any time frame when you plan on crossing the pond?
Yes. I have unfinished business with the Atlantic. I hate being turned back. I hate not being able to do things that I say I'm going to do. It's very much still on my list of things to achieve. When, honestly, it could be our only option this season. It could be not an option at all this season. I don't know when the world is going to the Atlantic. That's the pond.
Yeah, or do they mean like Pacific as in crossing the pond back home?
I always have thought that the Atlantic was the pond.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, true.
Yeah, it's still on the agenda, but we're just waiting for the world to unfork itself before we can consider where or what to go. We had quite an elaborate plan this season about doing a Caribbean circuit and doing a shakeout season and seeing our patrons in the Bahamas, etc., but nothing is certain at this point. Yeah. And that's 5 minutes. We did it. Hey! 5 questions in 5 minutes. So for the last question, I suppose, is a question that
is our own made-up question.
It's the question on everyone's tongue: is what's going on with COVID-19? What's going on with our plans? Where are we? What are we doing? And how are we staying safe? We are presently anchored off St George in Grenada. We're in a full lockdown presently. The nation has day 6. The nation has declared a full state of emergency and enacted quarantine protocols. So it's 3 half days a week, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, ashore to get supplies.
Essential supplies.
Essential supplies and essential supplies only. Only corner stores are open. It's pretty well full lockdown. We had supply. We stocked up for the week before we started. Those supplies are holding but dwindling, so we're waiting for Monday.
This is the limit of our fresh fruit, and there are a whole lot of onions left.
We're waiting for Monday to find out what the deal is, whether or not we can get a top up on supplies. We're all expecting it to be extended, and we're just taking it 1 week at a time, really. We're staying safe, staying isolated.
Yeah. I was going to say it's pretty much the same with our plans as well, is that we're just taking it 1 week at a time. We're just staying as safe as possible. We did have a vague idea of kind of, trying to go to some close islands, but some islands that are close to us.
Yeah.
But they are all in lockdown as well, so you can't go anywhere. And if we check out of here and we go to a place that might be open, it might not be open by the time we arrive. So
and that has happened to a couple of. There's people at anchor out here under the yellow who have been in that state for weeks now, unable to leave their boats.
They left when Grenada was open, and when they arrived it was closed, so I don't want to be in that situation, and so for that reason we're just going to stay in Grenada on our boat for now.
So our mission is to do the best we can with what we have. We're a couple of weeks ahead of ourselves with content, so the videos will continue to come out. Anyway, we took 2 minutes for that one, so we've blown the budget. Thank you for tuning in, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Stay tuned on maybe Thursday, Friday. I'm doing my best. I've got a mammoth interview episode coming with my mate John Kretschmer. It's pretty fun. We had a great time recording it, and I hope you all enjoy it. So stay tuned for that.
Yes.
And we'll see you when we see you next.
Bye, guys.
Stay safe. Cheers.